Hello and welcome to my garden. So we're having a heat wave come. We're looking at 102, 103 up here in Loon Lake, but in Spokane, Washington, it's probably going to get hotter. So here's a few tips. The reason why plants fail in the heat is because the roots get too hot. So in order to keep those roots cool, we're going to need to cover them in a manner. I like to use Weed Guard. Now, I don't mean that little plastic flimsy stuff you get from the stores. Order in some fabric, weed fabric, because it's thicker, it's like protects double time. So what I do is I will cut a section out of the fabric and wrap it around my root system, or a big circle would be fine, and cut a slit to get the plant in it. And then I cover it with soil or compost. This is going to protect the plant's roots from heating up too much. Now, in this kind of heat, we're also going to need to shade your plants. Don't think that just because it's a full sun plant that it needs to stay in the full sun during a heat wave. It needs to be shaded all the time until the heat wave passes. Here, I'll show you. This is currently my shade guard. I call it shade guard, but it's shade cloth. And it still gets sun through, but it really does protect the plant's leaves from getting too hot as well and wilting. I use this also when we get our epic thunderstorms so that the hail doesn't get them. But my whole garden will be covered with shade cloth by next week. Also, another method that I learned a long time ago when I moved up here to Loon Lake is that I water from the bottom. So when I make my beds, I basically line them underneath the ground about 1.5 feet at the bottom of the bed with a drip system. It's a typical hose. It's got a drip every 1 foot, and I put a flag in it so I know where the drip is so that I can place my plant accordingly. By doing a daytime watering, it also keeps those roots cool, and it doesn't have any effect on my plants when the root system is cool underneath all that soil. And then the Weed Guard helps to keep the block more of the baking, if you will. Anyway, I hope you go and try this method. It's really nothing in the spring, maybe next year if you don't water from the bottom, to go ahead and water from the bottom. In Spokane, on this side of the state, watering from the top is detrimental, and most of it evaporates before it can get down to the root system, or it heats up before it can get down there. So watering in the daytime is an option, so just make sure it's from underneath. Well, I hope you guys have success this week. Don't be afraid to hit me up if you have questions. I'd be more than happy to share more knowledge with you. Anyway, happy 4th of July. Go be great.